morning. Today is going to be a great day. Partially because we're diving headfirst into our first field of corn, but more specifically because I have a mustache. Corn harvest and mustaches go together like Dom Perignon and caviar. If there's not enough oil in the S780 this morning after we changed it yesterday, that's on us. She's got plenty of blood. For the record, I've never had Dom Perignon or caviar, especially not together at the same time. But it sounded good in my head, so I said it. It's Sunday morning, so it's just Dad and I for now. We're gonna start mobilizing the army down the road to the south. That way we can get started picking some corn after we set an auger. Really, the field is a good spot to get these semis out of the way. That's where they need to be. We got a little time, and we are gonna be setting up one of our big 13-inch augers to one of these 3 middle 36-foot grain bins. That's where that corn's gonna be coming. There's Marty, the red menace. Look at that, a baby snake. Or it was a baby snake, now it's just a flat string. Trucks are at the field, now on to our next task. If you're new to the channel, it would mean the world to me if you could hit that subscribe button. If and when we reach 100,000 subscribers on the channel, I will buy a camera and force Katie to record. Need to put the spout on this auger to get under our shiver system. The extra drop and maneuverability of this little piece allows it to fit in there better. We're gonna need all the room we can get to turn the trucks around once the auger's set. So I'm gonna move this big girl out of the way so the trucks can circle here. And while I'm doing this, Marty's over there attempting to electrocute himself in our breaker boxes. Give her a few minutes to warm up. Oh, sorry about your yard, Jeff. Boss's orders. The auger's set, that's about a third of the battle. The other third is setting the drive over pits for the semis, and the remaining third is getting the rest of our help to show up. Dump it into our south 36-foot grain bin. No drying going on. According to the combine monitor yesterday evening when we pulled into the field, corn was about 14 to 16%. That's actually drier than we'd like it to be, but we didn't get around to getting it picked because we were so busy cutting beans. That may be a barbaric way to set the drive over. It works though. Grain cart shouldn't have any complaints this morning. It just received a full load of grease. If I had $1 for every time I forgot to close this ladder when I was done, I'd have like $15, maybe, not that much. Probably gonna get worked like a dog today, so I stocked up my fridge with Coke Zeros. Between you and I, those are the secret to maintaining such a nice hourglass shaped figure. See you later, farm. We shouldn't be back for at least 5 or 6 hours. This chicken hawk is always posted up on this sign. Maybe he just wants people to know there's a turn ahead. Yes, I know. That is an 8-row corn head on a Class 8 machine. Blasphemy. Much. How are you full already? I don't believe that. Can't forget to mention that we've got our Lieber cart system set up and ready to automate the loads out of this field. Everything is going to be attributed to the appropriate field, and I have it set to the actual grain bin we're going to be filling to keep track of those totals. This is an effortless automatic system, does everything for me. I just have to make sure I've got it loading the right stuff. Of course, we do need to do a quick check for harvest losses, make sure the machine's set up right. There's quite a few kernels right there, maybe 10 to 15 in this square foot. Regardless as to if that is header loss or combine loss, that's 3 to 4 bushels an acre. It does look like you need to dial it in a little better. I can't tell if it's header loss or combine loss. Without even looking, I know we need to slow the speed of the corn head down. The slower the gathering chains run and the snapping rolls are running, the less you're going to be knocking corn off the cob. That being said, when you have an 8-row corn head on a Class 8 combine, you don't have a choice but to run the corn head at full speed because it will not keep up if you don't. We're checking where the corn head is ran, but the combine is not passed, and clear as day, this is header loss. Might have to narrow the deck plates a little bit, which is the spacing that catches the ears. Other than that, like I said, you can slow the head down, which isn't really that realistic. Yes, I know, guys, a 12-row folding corn head would be a much better fit for this combine. But have you seen the price of those things? Our options are pretty limited. Just gonna run it like it is. First unload on the go of the season for corn. How fast do you want to go?
We're putting around 5.2.
Before I had it. Last night when we pulled into the field, his row sense, which is his row sensing auto steer, was not working. Go figure. We shut the combine down, fired it up this morning, and it worked fine. That's the secret to modern farm equipment diagnostics. Turn it off and turn it back on. I'm amazed that there's still green left in the plants for the second week of October. This is going to be a common view for me. The nice part about farming all of the fields around the field that you're currently harvesting is that you can drive through them at your own leisure. Opening up a field of corn is a little bit more complicated than a field of soybeans. We have to pick with the rows, so we have to take everything down and back. We really need to get everything in line. Soybeans, you can do whatever you want because you can cut interdirectionally. We are picking Pioneer 1359 double stack corn. Kernel size looks great, and we got a good sample. Actually, I just mistakenly lied to you all. This is DeKalb 6357. There is 1359 Pioneer on the south side of this farm. The major flaw with the 8-row combine is that the unloading auger on this combine, when it's folded out, reaches over into the unharvested row of corn. I need at least 2 8-row passes to effectively unload on the go. Are we dumping on the go or drag racing? I can't tell. If we had another truck driver, I'd say go get the other combine. But I don't know if we'll be able to keep up in decent corn. Look at how comfy Marty is in his combine. He looks like he's just having a nice, easy-going Sunday. Oh, poor me. That's not what I was wanting to see, the second combine. Alrighty, folks. The corn party is on. Not yet, actually. We gotta slow Katie's rotor down first. Speed it all the way up. It's not. Just checking my work. I didn't do it right. If you don't get it properly engaged, it won't even spin. You run the rotor about half as fast as soybeans. Boss man's riding with Katie in the second combine to make sure everything's set right, and we're gonna pick her out. I was moving the combine and it's in first gear, and I noticed that full throttle, full stick is only 6 miles an hour, which probably is not enough for corn. So we're gonna bump this up to about 7.5 or 8. Let's see what this big girl's capable of. Yield monitor is starting to get dialed in a little bit more. If I had to guess, we're probably still 10% high. This corn's around 250-ish. Look at all this green. I feel like I should have my seatbelt on right now. I'm cruising. Alrighty, that was our one free round of the day. Back to the grain cart. I want to do another loss check because I was doing close to 8 miles an hour through here. 4 to 5 or 6 kernels on the ground. Probably header loss. Probably pushing 5,000 bushels an hour instant throughput in that area, going 8 miles an hour, 250 plus bushel corn. That's not really bragging on the combine. Almost any combine out there in the modern day can thresh dry corn. It's not that hard. I just got in trouble for taking a pee break. What a day. And here we go. Katie's first hopper full from corn harvest 2022. And we picked up a homeless man along the way. This little guy was just out walking around, he wanted to ride. Marty's dumping off the first of the next field we're on. We picked about 34 acres there. According to Lieber card over the scales, 259 wet at about 17% moisture. To shrink that down to dry bushels, we take the difference, which is 2% times 1.17%, which is the normal shrink per point. So 259 times that number is 252.9 dry. The Sunday lunch crew around these parts is pretty cute. What does your sweatshirt say? 250 bushel corn, 2 combines, 3 trucks, and 2 drivers. You guessed it, the truck drivers do not stand a chance of keeping up. Can't keep the grain away from the fields, so we get stuck on the grain cart, and ultimately the combines stop. That is a symptom of high yielding corn though, so we'll take it. Poor Jeff, trying to keep up, running 2 trucks right now. I'm loading the empty as soon as it's coming to the field.
Lenny had something to say.
What do you think, Lenny? Only slightly overloaded. In case the Department of Transportation is watching, those are metric bushels. They're lighter than regular bushels. And I'm not going to be able to catch both combines fast enough. The one advantage that the trucks do have is that they're just hauling about 2 miles up the road to our main farm. Then we've got a 13-inch auger loading the bins, so it's dumping the trucks about as fast as they can. I don't think that the auger tractors get any kind of a rest though. It's probably constantly churning bushels. I stopped for 5 minutes to dump. You gotta be kidding me. My wife pointed out that this is a good problem to have. I don't disagree, but it's killing our efficiency. It is hard to find good help. I would help her, but I'm also full. There might be room for like 1 more bushel on there. Never mind, I take that back. It's still sprinkling off the top. In a strange combine operator sort of way, I'll probably get the blame for this. No worries, it happens. Lenny, what do you think about the cab corn? You get cab corn 1 time and then you never want to push the limits on the combine again. Just finished up another 45 acres. Yields are still looking strong. Mom just called. One of the neighbors' combines on fire. A lot of smoke. Just billowing out of there. Trying not to be nosy neighbors, but they're going to town right now trying to work this up to keep it from burning towards our field right now. We're not gonna look at it for much longer. Don't want to make them feel bad. We're not gonna look at it.
There's not a fire truck coming.
That was. He's in a hurry. Shoot, that's sad to see. Our harvesting crew's in disarray now. We zipped over there to make sure that it wasn't going to burn into our field. Looks like they've got it under control, but they are going to be down their combine. I would have walked out there and filmed that fire. It was rather impressive. A lot of black smoke. Diesel fuel and rubber, they're quite the combination. That being said, it's just not good taste. If it was our combine, I'd stay there all day. Heck, I'd have marshmallows out roasting them watching that thing burn. A neighbor's combine that we don't even really know that well, not a good look. I feel bad for the guys. Obviously that's going to put a kink in their harvesting plans. They're not huge farmers. Doesn't make it hurt any less. That being said, our brand new S780 last year could have caught on fire and I probably would have cried tears of joy. Leave it to the combine to park in the way. Left it here for good reason. We went to look at the combine fire. At the same time, coincidentally, someone showed up back at home. We've got a used 8285R, excellent condition, 630 hours for sale. They wanted to look at it, so we stopped by. Looks like the deer have been out in this corn. Deer can actually do a surprising amount of damage to a cornfield. There we go. I like that instant readout a little bit better once we're out of the deer damage. There's no way that is right. Those are our loss monitors right there. I am not losing that much. I'm only going 4.2 miles an hour. That is some good looking corn. Speaking of good looking corn, what we have right adjacent to that combine that's on fire is a cornfield. Right now, with the lack of rain and dryness in our corn crop, we're looking at 15% moisture on the kernels, typically indicative of very dry corn stalks. These things are like a powder cake waiting for a spark. Everyone wants to be very vigilant, keep an eye on the wind with a fire like that and make sure it doesn't burn across into other people's farms and amplify into almost a countryside wildfire of cornfields. Unlikely, but definitely possible. The previous cornfield we harvested was Pioneer 1359. I had a switcheroo between that and the first field. That's why I made that mistake in the beginning. It made 254 dry. Not a bad start to corn harvest. I still think that our monitor here is about 10% too high, if not 15. The tracts are like squeezing the moisture out of the corn leaves. I'm surprised there's any left out here. Row of shame. Has anyone checked to see if that bin's about full?
It was almost a ring down.
I knew that our total in that bin was getting close to the top because I showed on LibreCart that I've dumped 22,000 bushels into trucks headed to that bin. Historically, we can get 22,000 bushels in that bin. If the corn is especially heavy, maybe we can get 24,000, which is probably the case this year. That's where that good test weight really comes in handy. You can get more bushels in your storage because each individual kernel actually weighs more. 990 bushels, that was a little too much, I think. That last field we picked made right at 230 bushels per acre dry, surrounded by trees, and had some deer damage, so not bad. Big Boss is headed back to supervise topping off of that grain bin. We're gonna pick some corn. I find it so comical how he bickered and bickered about putting this camera in the grain tank, which was no labor or cost to him. I did all of that myself. And every time I get in here, he's got the camera pulled up. He's looking at it because it's a great way to tell if you have a full grain tank. I think that the gal operating that combine could use the same upgrade. That camera lens needs a good dust off. I'm not planning on finding any tile holes. I'll let you find them all and let me know. The combine is so much rougher in corn than soybeans. It's always very interesting for me to think about how harvesting, planting, and farming in general is a lifestyle that myself and my siblings have been used to since we were born. Like, this is all we've ever known. And a lot of you watching this video who aren't farmers or aren't related to farmers, this is kind of one of your only select tastes of the farming lifestyle. I'm sure a lot of you who are watching that are farmers can relate in some sort of way. Just the fact, like for us, when it's springtime, it's planting season. That's priority number one. When it's fall, it's harvest season. That's the end all be all of what we do. That's a big load. There During the busy seasons, there's not quite sick days. Maybe you could negotiate one if you got hit by a car or something. When there's work to be done, we have to run hard, get the crop in or out in a timely manner. That's not to say that we don't have opportunities the rest of the year to kick our feet up. But right now it's grind time. We go dump this so we keep the show on the road. My favorite time of day to unload. That being the time when you literally cannot see what you're doing. Back in the picker. Part we're doing right now, picking the end rows off, is where the grain cart really comes in handy, especially on the far side of the field. Looks like the auger has been moved one bend to the north, symbolizing that the south 36 footer is full. Pretty easy to guess where the water ran through this farm, where all the shorter corn is. I can't exactly give you a reason as to why I'm about to say this. I think picking corn is more fun than cutting beans. This is just a more exciting time for me here in the combine. It's probably just the big numbers. Corn yields a lot higher than soybeans.
So are there 8 rows on the far north side between the Jeff and Grandma?
Yeah, I picked one round to the north, so there should be one more through on the property line. Beautiful sunset coming in right now. I'm sure this isn't the smoothing sail ship you guys have ever watched on YouTube, but it works for us. We got a lot of our health tied up back to the bin sites, relocating the auger, getting the wheels turning again. We're doing it. Lights are on. It says my grain tank's full and I'm not feeling that brave. Look at those tips. They glow in the dark. I would say that since the auger's set to the bin, that I'm going to be getting demoted from combine operator. That was a pretty good guess. That was fun while it lasted. We're gonna load the last trucks that are sitting at the field and call it quits for the night. Remind me to clean my windows in the morning. I would have really liked to get my drone up and get some sweet aerial footage of the first day of corn harvest. It doesn't look like I'm gonna get a good opportunity to do that. If we stay around here tomorrow picking the home farm, definitely gonna fly the drone. Marty made a whoopsie there. He hit the up button on his corn head, lifted his corn head up as opposed to stopping the unloading. So he slammed on his brakes, yanked his hydrostat back, and forgot to turn the unloading auger off. If there's any mess I'm not gonna get too upset about, it's one that I did not cause. What are you guys showing for average moisture so far? I think this corn's a little drier.
14.7.
As I predicted. Moseying our way out of this field to a good place to shut down for the night. Closing time. While Marty empties his combine, I'm playing around with the agromatic system, sending yield reports and harvest reports from our farms back home. Rest easy, old girl. Your work is just beginning. This Libra cart system by Agromatics is just killer. If you guys are in the market for a smart scale system that replaces your standard just readout scale head, give it a shot. At least look into it, give them the time of day, because I'm having a great time with it. Guys, what about me? See you tomorrow, farm equipment. Good job today. While we let the 7330 cool down after probably a non-stop day of loading corn into the bin, I'm going to say my goodbyes to you all. I'm greatly appreciative of all of you tuning in, and I sure hope to see you in the next episode. I think this was a great first step for corn harvest. It is only uphill or downhill from here, depending on how you look at it. Until I see you again, make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment down below if you have any questions. You know I love to talk about farming. Have a great day, everyone. Peace!